My parents, two New York City public school educators, moved my family to Staten Island when I was 7 months old, over the Verrazano Bridge, when the Verrazano Bridge got built. So seeing this film, The King of Staten Island, and seeing my hometown, and it looked great. My hometown looked great, man. My hometown looked great in this film, and I felt like I knew every character, like I grew up with them all. And the acting's great, writing's great, and the director of this film joining me right now, Judd Apatow, here on the Rich Eisen Show. How are you, Judd?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
I am a legit Staten Islander, sir, so I give this my stamp of approval. I'm legit.
Finally, Staten Island getting the respect it has been denied.
Well, I mean, there's Alyssa Milano, Rick Schroeder, Wu-Tang Clan, or as Artie called it in the Larry Sanders Show, which you know so very well, the Staten Island streetwise troubadours, is I think how he described him to yes. Larry in one episode. So you know I'm legit here. And now Colin Jost as well. Colin, who looks and sounds nothing like anybody I grew up with, as opposed to many of the characters in this film. Judd.
Well, he's clearly filtered all of that accent out. I used to have a very strong Long Island accent, which disappeared after 30 years in L.A. Because when I first got here, I look at video of me doing stand-up, and I'm like, how's everybody doing? It's so good to be here at the improvisation. And it's gone. It's gone.
Well, again, it's a great movie, and let's discuss it a little bit here. It's loosely based on Pete's life. Pete Davidson, who's in every frame of this film, it seems, and he's terrific in it. It's loosely based on his life, Judd?
It is. I mean, it's a fictional story. It's about what happens when, a young man who's not really doing well, is a bit of a slacker, and he lost his father, who was a firefighter, and now his mom, played by Marissa Tomei, is dating for the first time in a long time, and she starts dating another firefighter, played by Bill Burr, and who tries to get Pete to get his act together. And the story's not true, but it is the type of story that allows Pete to discuss a lot of the stuff that he's been through in his life.
And if I'm not mistaken, Buscemi, he's got some firefighting history in his real life too, right?
Yes, he was a firefighter in the 80s in Little Italy for 4 years.
Oh, my gosh.
Before his acting career took off. And he has stayed very close to the firefighting community. He works with this charity called Friends of Firefighters, and he's amazing. He's been in all the Sandler movies since Airheads, when I used to live with Sandler. Sandler did Airheads. And so, oddly, he's been in our orbit for a long time, and he's one of our heroes.
Judd Apatow here on the Rich Eisen Show, and just lingering a bit more on this film. Pete Davidson's sister in the film, Maud Apatow. What in the world is it like to direct your daughter, Judd?
Well, I like it because I get to boss her around because she's 22, and now she doesn't really have to listen to me. Although we have been in isolation together for a long time with my other daughter, who's 17. And now we're not – it's not even like I'm a parent anymore, really. I'm just like a weird roommate. I'm like a smelly, strange man they live with. And you can't punish them. Like, you can't ground them because we are all grounded at this point. So we just sit around drinking White Claw, and we're all very close to doing mushrooms together. We're very close to taking some sort of psychedelic to this thing.
So that's what it was like directing your child, is basically what you're saying. Similar.
Yes, it's I'm happy to have any opportunity to force her to listen to me, since that just ended so long ago.
She's great in it, man. The film's terrific. It really is, Judd. So congrats on that, and then people can start checking it out on June the 12th, coming up in a couple of days from now. It really is.
VOD.
It really is. So what was it like directing LeBron James? He was fantastic in Trainwreck, Judd. He was terrific.
I think when you get in those situations, you just wonder how funny someone will be. What are their acting skills like? Because you're just taking a guess that you could get something out of them.
Right.
And then he shows up. He's so prepared. His acting is great, and he's genuinely riotously funny. It's not a performance that I had to, try to squeeze out of him. He was riffing like a guy who had been doing comedy and improv for the last 10 years.
Well,
it was annoying in a way, because I can't play basketball, so I don't like that he can do what I do.
How did he wind up in the role, though? Did you get like a word that LeBron wants to give this a try, and you're like, all right, we'll kick the tires on it, and then LeBron shows up and crushes it? How did that all come to be?
I think what it is that you go, who would be the best person that ever could do it? Okay, LeBron James as Bill's best friend for no apparent reason. And then you think, well, there's no way he'll do it. Does anyone know LeBron?
Right.
Of course. And Bill said, well, he just hosted SNL, and he had a really good time, and he was really nice and funny. So then we went out to lunch with him, and we told him about it, and he found it really funny. And then, the funniest part for us is that he just has to hang out with us for a week, all day, every day, and live in our strange comedy nerd world. And I think he really enjoyed himself. You could see it on screen that he's having a blast. And he killed. Like, we would do screenings, and the place would explode in laughter. People really appreciated his chops.
He was dynamite. He really was. Is it any of the truth to the rumor that Chris Rock was there feeding him lines? Is that true?
Chris Rock came and did a pitch a line or two. I don't know if anything made it. But what was funny is we were shooting the scene where he's playing one-on-one with Bill Hader, which really made us laugh. That the whole idea was that when he plays with Bill, he doesn't hold back. Right. It's not like he goes easy on him, and he's just destroying him and hurting him and slamming on him. But when we were shooting it, it's almost like the whole city knew LeBron was there because just people just started showing up from all directions.
No kidding.
It was very exciting. It was you felt the energy and the great deserved love for him.
Judd Apatow here on the Rich Eisen Show, director, producer, screenwriter, the king of Staten Island in theaters. Video on demand, obviously, with what's going on in the world coming up on Friday. I just went into my old theaters near you line. A couple of occasions I have crossed paths with you, and I'll repeat here what I told you then. Your documentary on Gary Shandling is one of the most moving, beautiful tributes I have ever seen. And I cannot implore enough people to check it out. Certainly, if there is time on your hands to try and see who he was, what he was about, and maybe gain some inspiration. What do you think Gary would think about what's happening right now in the world, Judd?
Well, Gary was very much a believer in the idea that we're all in this together. And there's a thing in Buddhism that they talk about called the illusion of separateness, that you spend your life in this illusion that you're not connected with everybody else, but you really are. And you have to get over the illusion of separateness. And that is definitely the case. We all have to lift each other up. We have to be there for each other. We have to love each other. And that's the only way things get solved, is with all of us as one. And I think that's the same for all the civil rights issues, as well as how we protect each other from COVID, how we take care of the climate. We all have to be in it. It can't be every person for themselves.
He was something else, man. I got a chance to meet him a couple of times, and he could not have been nicer and more giving. Because when I crossed paths with him, and a mutual friend said you guys should chat, and I asked him to take a look at this show, this talk show that we're on right now, and I said, who better to give me some tips on what it should look like, or what I should talk about, or what it should look like spatially. I mean, the details that he gave me. My one regret is he sent it to my NFL email, and there's a system that they destroy the emails after 6 months. I don't have them anymore. It kills me. It just absolutely destroys. He was beautiful. The things he would write and the messages he would give me was amazing. Judd.
Well, all his emails, they were always so funny. And I remember I went through all my emails that he sent me over the years when he passed away. And what I noticed was that every single time in every email over decades where I said, hey, can you read this for me? Can you watch this for me? Can you do this thing with me? He said yes every single time. It just made me cry. I just thought, wow, he was just 100% there for me. And yeah, I mean, I could get all worked up about it. I just loved him so much. And I put out a book called It's Gary Shandling's Book because I found so many hilarious jokes and journal entries and photos that if people are interested in that, they can check that out. And the doc is on HBO streaming, so you can still see it. Most of us have a lot of time to film. It's 4 hours, and that'll fill 4 hours of your day.
Judd Apatow, again, the king of Staten Island here on the Rich Eisen Show. I know the Yankees have an affiliate on Staten Island, and it made it into your film.
Yes.
You are a Met fan, though, correct? You're a diehard Met fan? Or?
I'm a fan of the Mets. I was a kid, and I used to go to see Dwight Gooden and Darryl Strawberry when I was a senior in high school. And I went to so many of the great Dwight Gooden games.
Oh, those were festivals, Judd. Those were like circuses when he would get on the mound and people would start clapping with 2 strikes. It was unbelievable.
It's hard to describe to people going to a baseball game where every single pitch for the entire game, the place exploded. The energy in those Dwight Gooden games was incredible. I remember seeing him throw a 1-hitter or 2-hitter against the Cubs that year. And I've never seen anything more exciting. And then I got to make a 30 for 30 about Dwight Gooden and Darryl Strawberry.
That is great stuff. Now, what do you do? Again, I know you're from the New York City metropolitan area, and your new film is about Staten Island. What do you do with a guy from New Jersey who works on your show, who's known to exaggerate the truth a little bit, who claims to have started the K Corner? What do you say about
claims? I have a New York Times article I showed you guys. That they interviewed me.
My guy Mike Del Tufo says he started the K Corner. Judd.
That's pretty incredible. He really says that he did.
I did not start it.
Well,
I knew the people that started. I got interviewed by the New York Times because of the guys that were used to sit with us in the upper deck that did it left. See? We took credit.
Okay, you missed it.
You took over.
I took over. Thank you, Judd. You see, he understands it. You two schmohawks just say I'm a liar.
So without you, there was nobody hanging backward Ks every now and then.
And we did that for the game. And then that was what we stayed for.
Judd, you should have concluded him in your 30 for 30 is basically what I'm saying.
That was a big part of my life, those Ks. It was exciting. It changed baseball. People. It
did.
They did that. I guess in some ways they still do it, but then it was exciting back then. I don't know if it is. They don't even let people play enough of the game now to get this many strikeouts.
That's true.
Exactly.
I know. Now Gooden, it would be just like, well, third time through the order against a left-hander, we'll put the shift on maybe, or we'll just take him out,
They'll let the computer decide.
There you go. Judd, thanks for the time. Thanks for the call. Congrats on the King of Staten Island. I could not recommend it any better. We're gonna have Bill Burr up next week. Oh yeah, real quick, ask him the poll question before we go. We have about 2 minutes left.
All right, Judd, it's the anniversary of the Sopranos finale today.
Yeah.
So we're asking everyone, do you think the members-only jacket guy killed Tony at the end?
Yay or nay?
I have to say this. I am a big fan of that ending. I think that time has proven that David Chase was correct. I think it's almost a religious type of ending, which is it doesn't matter where you end it. It doesn't matter. That was the life. It doesn't matter if he got killed that day or didn't get killed. It's the emptiness. It's like a Buddhist expression. So I say there's no way to ever know. What is the sound of one hand clapping, guys? You know what I'm saying.
I know. Look, that's the director screenwriter. This is a sports talk radio show. You must have an opinion. There is no gray area. There is no nuance in this medium. Judd, yay or nay? You vote for what? You think he's dead or not?
He's dead.
Oh! By the way, we shouldn't celebrate like that.
I know.
Take care, Judd. You take care. Thanks for the call.
Care, guys.
There you go. There goes.
Bye-bye.
There's Judd Apatow. See? How to force it out of him. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.